Hi class, Mrs. Lowe here again. I promised to do another example of writing a linear equation given a table of values where the y-intercept wouldn't be given on the table and you would have to find it algebraically. So in this case you can see the table of values. There is no x equals 0, which doesn't mean necessarily that it's not an integer point. It's just not listed on this table. But if you look at the pattern, from -1 to 4, it's going to increase by 5, and here it's going to increase by 2. So the y-intercept is going to be a fraction, so it would not be listed on a table of values necessarily. Mostly it's just integer points that we put on the table of values. So we're going to first find the slope of the line using the formula. So we're going to do the change in the y's over the change in the x's. So I've just blocked in 2 points that I'm going to use. So I'm going to do 1 minus 3, and I could do 3 minus 1. It doesn't matter. I just have to be consistent with the x values. Since I started with this one, I have to start with this -1, which is its corresponding x value. And remember, it's the difference in the x values, -1 minus 4. So we get -2 over -5, and that's 2 over 5 is our slope. So our slope is a fraction as well, positive slope. So I'm going to plug that into y equals mx plus b. Now my goal here is to find b. So I'm going to pick any point on the graph or any point on the table, and I'm going to substitute it in for x and y, and I'm going to algebraically solve for b. So any of the 3 points will work. You will always get the same b value if you've done it properly. So I think I'll just use 9, 5. So 9 will be x. So I have 2/5 times 9, and y will be 5, and I have plus b. So I'm going to solve for the b. Well, to multiply 2/5 and 9, I have to put 9 over 1, and I get 18/5. Now I want to get a common denominator for 5 and 18/5, and that would be 5. So 5 is equivalent to 25 over 5. So now I'll be able to add or subtract those two fractions. I'm going to subtract 18/5 from both sides. So I'll get 25/5 minus 18/5. 25/5 minus 18/5. That equals b. And when you subtract fractions, you simply subtract the numerator, keep the denominator. So we are left with 7/5. So our b winds up being a fraction, and we want to leave it as a fraction as opposed to changing it to a decimal, especially if it's a repeating decimal. So our last step is to plug it back into the linear equation because they ask for a rule, and you want to provide the equation of the line with m and b substituted in. So this is the equation of the line that will satisfy this table of values, and it has a slope of 2/5 and a y-intercept of 7/5. Hopes that helps. Thanks.